right, heroes make our sunrise. Seriously, come on in as we welcome you to Listen Right to ShopRite on Radio 2, the breakfast show on Radio 2 on the Zambian National Broadcasting Corporation. And well, we'd like to just give you a big welcome. We started our show with heroes because, like I promised, we are going to be unveiling those heroes as we drum up to the 60th anniversary of our independence. We'll just like to remember the heroes, and there are so many unsung heroes that I think that, a lot of people have not heard of. And on Listen Right to ShopRite, we will ensure that you just get to know them and just get to understand how they helped and really, according to their children or even siblings sometimes, we will be able to see what dream they were dreaming of achieving in this beautiful country called Zambia. Well, I am heading right now to talk to someone special, of course, who is the son of one of our unsung heroes, who I would call unsung hero. And, we'll just see if you can guess who that is. And, well, I'll be right back after this message from your favorite family neighborhood store, ShopRite.
1, 2, let's go shopping. Whoa, go shopping. For low prices you can trust always. Your favorite family neighborhood store ShopRite, rocking you with low prices, caring only for you and your family and friends.
I wanna go to ShopRite.
No shop has ever been better.
Everything comes together with the ShopRite price.
Lower prices you can trust always. Yeah.
ShopRite with rocking low prices you can trust always.
Right, listeners, welcome back to Listen Right to ShopRite this morning. And, like I said, right now I am at East Park Mall overlooking our beautiful ShopRite Select, where I am sitting with Mr. Mulilo Chuula, who is the son of the late, great Fitzpatrick Chula, who, according to me anyway, I feel he's an unsung hero, really, who was one of those who put our country, our beautiful country, where it is today. Mulilo, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Not too sure if we can distance ourselves that much.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, Mulilo, we would like to know about the old man. First of all, who was Fitzpatrick Chula?
No, thank you. There's so much to talk about him. Of course, I loved him very much, and so you can understand I can go on for 2 hours, but I'll give you a short breakdown.
Uh-huh.
Right. Well, Fitzpatrick Chula was born in 1923. Mm-hmm. He had 6 brothers and 1 sister in Mujika. Mujika is a village about 8 kilometers outside or east of Monza, right? Or east of Monza. And that's where he was born. His father was from. There's a few different stories, but we're from Gwembe Valley.
Right. So
I always hope that one day I'm going to be recompensated by the people who built Kariba Dam, because we were chased. We were chased from the Gwembe Valley for the Kariba Dam. So one day I'm hoping for compensation.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, let me get back.
Right.
So I can remember a story where we all had to sit down and have a family meeting because he didn't know his birthday. So we had a family meeting, and his mom had told us that he had been born in early in the rainy season. Yeah. At that time, it was closer to November than December. So we decided that his birthday would be the 7th of November.
Okay.
So that's how. That's one of the stories about him.
Right.
I'd like to say that also that it shows you who's in charge when you're the value system depending on who's in charge.
Right.
Because his uncle was a poacher, so I can't believe up to today that he was arrested by the British Colonial Office for being a poacher, and he was your first Attorney General of Zambia.
Wow.
Yes. One day he's behind with belt off and shoes off, And the next day, he's your first Attorney General of Zambia.
Ah,
So, yes,
that is very interesting.
very interesting. I wish I could find the documentation,
right.
the docket.
Right.
Yes.
Tell me about your, the family now. You
Okay,
know,
all
just
right.
just his history from birth and how he came on to be
all right.
Attorney General.
Well, it was a tough life.
Mm.
It was a tough life. At some point, his mom became a single mom. He used to tell me about how his favorite brother, Joel Matimba, used to put him on a bicycle with 2 or 3 chickens and send him all the way to the copper belt. Oh, yeah, they'd give him money for the train, but he'd have to take the bike to the railway line, take the chickens to the copper belt, and then bike again in Ndola to sell them just for a few more pennies. So that was the economy that he lived in. In fact, very soon he was taken by the missionaries, and they're the ones who promised his mum that they would look after him.
Right.
And so he'd be with his mother during the school holidays, but in principle he was permanently with the missionaries.
Right.
Yeah, that's how tough life was in those days.
Okay.
But they saw something in him because they realized that he was a bright young man, also a bit of an athlete, and they decided that they wanted him to become a priest.
Right.
So they gave him a bit more attention and wanted him to go to South Africa to train. And eventually they took him to South Africa to train as a priest. But he decided he didn't like it.
Yeah.
Then so what happened was he had to come home and explain to his mum that he wasn't going to be a priest and that he wanted to do something else. What he actually wanted to do was to go to London. But he knew that if he told his mum that he was going to London, she'd never believe he'd return.
Right.
So he told his mum, do you remember I said I went to South Africa and I came back? So I've just got to go again. They've asked me to go back and I won't be long.
Yeah.
And that's when he left now, went down to Cape Town and caught a ship. Because those days there were no planes.
Yeah.
Caught a ship from Cape Town up to London.
Right.
Yes.
And where he pursued his law.
Yes, right. Okay. So he gets to London. That's where your father comes in, I must admit. He gets to London and no money, so he works as a cleaner in a hospital. Yeah, and he does that, but he's meeting with the Zambians in London, with our late president, Kenneth Kaunda, and your father, Mainza Chona. And your dad recommends that, no, I think it's an idea that you also train to be a lawyer.
Right.
And that's how he went to law school. So he went to the Middle Temple in London, which is one of the most prestigious law schools. It's 800 years old at the moment. Coming from a mud hut in Africa.
Yes.
A mud hut in Africa to one of the most prestigious law schools in London was quite an achievement. And he graduated from the bar and became a barrister in London. Yes, but he knew his life was home. So in 1958, he married my mum in 1958, and the representative from Africa for his wedding was Mainza Chona. I have the picture up to today. It's one of my most treasured possessions. Yes. So he married his mum in 1958, and they returned to Lusaka.
Yeah.
Now to proceed with the independence struggle.
Yes.
The most important agenda. Soon after that, my sister Malele was born. Then myself. I also have a younger brother, Chikosola Chula, and Jalata Chula, my youngest brother.
Yeah.
So there are 4 of us. So he returns in the late 50s, to Kabwata, and we lived in Kabwata. While we waited for independence.
Okay.
Yes, or fought for independence, should I say, really. So the gang got together, our buddies, yes, they got together and they said, no, we've decided we want, not too sure about ANC, and decided that they would have to form their own party. So they decided they'd form UNIP, and Dad was in the cabinet.
Right.
Yeah, in the first unit government
Right.
after independence.
Uh-huh. As what?
He became the first Attorney General of Zambia.
Yeah.
Yes. But he held many ministerial portfolios.
Yeah.
In his time, he was the Minister of Transport, Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Lands. He was the DPP, as I mentioned, the first Attorney General,
Right.
and he served his nation.
Right.
He served his nation. That's-
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Tell me now. This is when we get a bit personal. What values do you feel like your father put in you? These were young men.
Yes.
When you think about it, they were in their 30s when they helped lead this country to independence. What values did your father instill in Mulilo?
Well, I'll start with this, and that is one thing I can remember. My dad was never around when I was younger, and that was because he had to go and tell Zambians that they're Zambians,
Right.
even after independence.
Right.
So he came home and would tell us that he'd go on these journeys in these tiny little Cessna airplanes, flying all over Zambia to remind people that they're Zambians.
Right.
Yes. And I always feel a bit sad for the younger generation now, because they were our superheroes when we were growing up were Kenyatta and Nyerere,
Right.
leaders of independence struggles, Mandela, yes, Martin Luther King.
Yes.
These people were real superheroes.
Exactly.
And we would look up to, even you have to look up to your father. We look up to these people, and they were in that gang, and those are the things that we wanted for our country.
Right.
We wanted to be superheroes like them. And now the superheroes now, they're just like, a football star. A football player is only in it for himself.
Exactly.
Yes, a video game star, they're in it for themselves. Yeah, the people that we were watching, Mandela, Kenyatta, Nyerere, Nkrumah, King, were all working for everybody.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
one Zambia, one nation.
Right.
We were all working for everybody. Yes, and so all of us weren't distinguishing with who is this person and who is that person. Yes, yeah. Does he speak English? Does he speak Bemba? Does he speak Tonga? It didn't even come into the picture. Yeah, yeah. Because the superheroes that we wanted, the images we were seeing were the superheroes that were building nations in our faces.
Exactly.
1960, 1970, 1950, Kenya, Tanzania, Zambia, all becoming independent.
Right. Right.
Yes, all becoming independent. And then as we went into primary school, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Mozambique, Angola. Bwana, that was a life, Ndala.
Yes.
That was a life.
Libya.
Yes,
Right.
that was a life. Yeah, not all the time on a video game, on a cell phone, on social media. Yeah, hiding away from hiding from reality.
Right.
No. Sorry. Forget that.
That's powerful. That's absolutely powerful. Tell me if any of you, I think you mentioned you're the four of you.
Yes.
Tell me if any of you, have had any political ambitions to be the real superheroes that you're talking about.
Well, Malele is unique.
Right.
I call me
Staunch.
My older sister, my
Right.
biggest sister. Yes, she's the real. I say the real politician.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
with it in her heart. Yes, I can't lie. In 1998, I stood up a bit and I attempted to become an independent member of parliament
Right.
in Kanyama, with my focus on Anderson Mazoka becoming our president.
Right.
I got a few votes, just almost 4,000, but at that time wasn't quite enough.
Yeah.
And I think I was still a bit young,
Okay.
so I needed a bit more experience. So yes, I have ambitions to. I can't lie. I have ambitions to make this country how it is in my memory,
Right.
which is a bit wrong because it's roses.
Uh-huh.
Roses are, everything is, you see, with rosy colored glasses. So I must admit, things must change,
Yeah.
but I would like to see a better Zambia,
Right.
a more united Zambia.
Mhm,
Yes,
mhm,
yes.
mhm. Which brings me to I'm thinking, the Zambia that you see today. Is this the Zambia that your father would have loved to see?
My dad was a pragmatic person. He would have he never really directed us to say you must be like this or you must be like that. But for an African who grew up in the village, I'm surprised actually how little input he gave us to say, no, I want, this is how it's going to be. Yes, everyone must be like this or everyone must be like that. That wasn't his nature. His nature was to, let live and let live.
Yeah.
Very much.
Right.
So what I see now, what I've grown up in, it wouldn't have offended him.
Right.
Yes. I think people are taking advantage to gain popularity by trying to create groups. Yes. Let's create a group. Now he would have been very disappointed if it would have been allowed to the extent that it has got to. Especially being the Attorney General, the person who's meant to stand up and say that you cannot do that and you can't do that. These are the laws that we've all decided to live by.
Right.
Yes, we've all decided we're going to live by these laws, and you cannot dislike someone because of his tribe. You can't dislike someone because of his race. You cannot prejudice someone because of their female. There he would have been like, you'd have been in court. Some of the things that are said openly on social media, all those people would be in court, being prosecuted for the things that they've said. There he would have been.
Right.
Yes.
Tell me about his life after the political career.
There wasn't. He was the member of parliament for Momba
Right.
virtually his whole life.
Yeah.
Yes, it was virtually his whole life. He's my dad. I must speak well of him. Yes, I admired him. He was an accomplished person. So you'll see that there are three pillars in democracy. There's the judiciary, there's the executive, and there's the legislature. And all the people who are looking for power and fame will attempt to find themselves at the top of one of those scales.
Right.
Yes? But for Dad, he was the Attorney General, which is the first pillar of the democracy.
Right.
Yes? He was a cabinet minister, which is the second pillar in the executive. Yes? And he was in the legislature, he was the speaker and a member of parliament for virtually his whole life. My father was never not a politician.
Right.
Never. I can remember that when he passed away
When was that?
in 1993,
Right.
96, forgive me, in 1996. It was the first time that our first president, Kenneth Kaunda, and Frederick Chuluba appeared in the same place.
Right.
Yes, the first time in from the second reform.
From 1991.
Yes, from 91.
Yeah.
The first time to show their respect, even if they disliked each other. So maybe that might be edited, but they didn't appreciate each other.
Right.
Yes, but that time when it was for Dad, they came and they stood, and then all of his friends jumped into the grave and started jumping up and down. I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed. I was like, what are these people doing? Yeah, making jokes about people and jumping up and down. And then I cooled down a bit and I said, no. Those are his brothers. That was his business. That was his life. He was a politician. He never wasn't one.
Okay. Well, wow, Mulilo is really fed us great stuff. But finally, we are heading towards our 60th anniversary of independence in this beautiful, peaceful country, really. And to be honest, what is your message? What is your message as the son of one of the freedom fighters who really we owe this peace that we have and just this lovely nation that we are in? What is your message to the Zambian people as we go towards the 60th anniversary?
Well, it's a bit of a tough one, forgive me. Where we are in the third world, I know that we're hoping for great things for our nation, but this nation is just not a rich nation. We must be careful how much we expect of leadership. Yes? I think it was much easier for us because of Dad would take us to the village. So we would see how his mother lived, yeah? How his brothers and sisters lived.
Right.
Yes, he made it all the way to London and back, but those are very few. Yes? We saw how they lived. And for Zambians to be too expect too much, yes, may frustrate them.
Yeah.
And so we have to change what we think is important. Yes? What is important? It's not our teachers are important. Yes? When you jump when you find your teacher on a bus, he must get as much respect whether he comes on a bus or he comes in a BMW.
Exactly.
But the people are like, oh no, I'll respect someone because he has money. Yes? And that, we have to get away from that.
Yeah.
It's very difficult because of social media is impressing on everybody that money is the key.
Right.
And it isn't. It isn't. So be patient with leadership.
Right.
Understand that we should value each other and what we have, not how much we have.
Right.
Yes?
Wow. Mulilo, what can I say? Thank you very much for being on our program this morning.
No, thank you, my
Extremely
brother.
enriching.
No, thank you.
Thanks, my brother.
1, 2, let's go shopping. Whoa, go shopping. For low prices you can trust always. Your favorite family neighborhood store ShopRite, rocking you with low prices, caring only for you and your family and friends.
I wanna go to ShopRite.
No shop has ever been better.
Everything comes together with the ShopRite price. Lower prices you can trust always. Yeah. ShopRite with rocking low prices you can trust always.
Absolutely powerful words there from Mulilo Chuula, who really spoke well there with his advice to all us Zambians to remember, first and foremost, to be Zambians. That's so powerful. I am so absolutely privileged and honored to have actually lived and had my life with most of these freedom fighters' children. And I just, I remember one thing that in 1958, actually, my old man was out in Croydon at the wedding of Mr. Fitzpatrick Chula. And after 30 years plus, I had the privilege actually of also living with Mrs. Chula right out there in Croydon in London town. That was really wonderful. Well, listeners, it's competition time on Listen Right to ShopRite this morning. And I would just like to really hope that you listened right, because the question is pretty tough this week, because I want to know the college that Mr. Fitzpatrick Chula attended out there in London. Mulilo mentioned that it's over 100 years old. So please mention the college that Mr. Fitzpatrick Chula went to out there in London. Please SMS 09553999401. That is 09553999401. And you stand to win yourself up to 2,000 kwaches on a ShopRite gift card. Also, just before I head out from East Park, as you can hear, I'm actually heading out. We have our low price promotion still on at ShopRite. And we are saying never pay more than the ShopRite price as usual. Yeah. And this is going on up to the 21st of July. And this shows you that really ShopRite really cares for you. Even in the biting middle of the month when, things are pretty tough, we still think about you to save by giving you that special ShopRite price. So please rush out there to your favorite family neighborhood store ShopRite and get shopping and save. Well, until next week at the same time, I've had a lovely time with you. I hope you have had too. Please join us again. This has been the Silver Fox. What can I say? But God bless and bye-bye.
You've been listening to Listen Right to ShopRite, your favorite magazine program bringing you information on shopping wisely, issues affecting you, and creating a better you. Join us again next week at the same time. ShopRite, lower prices you can trust, always.